What's the worst thing an ex did after you refused to take them back? I was changing a diaper when my phone rang. Marcus squirmed on the changing table. I grabbed my cell with one hand, kept the other on his stomach so he wouldn't roll off. Oregon State Licensing Division. This is Oliver Chen. Ms. Chen, Kenneth Hoffman from the Child Care Licensing Board. We need to conduct an emergency inspection of your facility today. My stomach dropped. Today? What's going on? We've received serious allegations. I'll be there at 2 o'clock. What kind of allegations? I secured Marcus's diaper. My hands were shaking. I keep detailed records of everything. My last inspection was perfect. We'll discuss it when I arrive. 2 o'clock. He hung up. In 3 years of running my licensed daycare, I'd never gotten a call like that. I documented every meal, every diaper change, every scraped knee. My certifications and background checks were spotless. Serious allegations. I had 6 kids here. 2 hours to get them all picked up early without causing panic. I called Marcus's mom first. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Hey Sarah, this is Oliver. I'm so sorry for the short notice, but could you pick up Marcus by 1:30? Something came up. Is he okay? He's fine. Totally fine. Just a personal emergency. I hated lying. 5 more calls like that. By 1:45, my daycare was empty for the first time on a Wednesday afternoon. I wiped down already clean tables, straightened already organized books, checked my licensing binder 3 times. At exactly 2 o'clock, Kenneth Hoffman knocked. 50-something, gray hair, wire-rimmed glasses, clipboard and laptop bag. He didn't smile when I let him in. Miss Chen. He set his laptop on my kitchen table. I need to show you something that was sent to our office anonymously 2 days ago. He angled the screen toward me. For a second, I didn't understand what I was looking at. Then my brain caught up. Pornographic images. 5 of them. My face. My face on bodies doing things I had never done, would never do, could never have done because I'd never been in those rooms. The room tilted. That's not me. My voice came out strangled. Those aren't real. Ms. Chen, we have to take all allegations seriously when they involve... I'm telling you that's not me. Nausea hit hard. I don't know what those are, but I didn't take those pictures. The complaint alleges you're operating an unsafe environment. Given the nature of these images, we're placing your license on temporary hold pending investigation. No. You'll maintain your current enrollments but cannot accept new children. Weekly inspections will be required. You'll receive formal notification by email tonight. My mind was racing. One of those images, the one with the window behind me. I knew that window. Wait. I grabbed his arm before he could close the laptop. That one. The background. That's supposed to be a hotel room in Phoenix, isn't it? He pulled away from me. I can't discuss details of... I was in Phoenix in January for a childcare conference. I can prove it, but I wasn't in that room and I definitely didn't... My throat closed. I have boarding passes. Hotel receipts. I was at conference sessions all weekend with 80 other people. You'll have your chance to respond formally. Expect your first weekly inspection Monday at 9 a.m. From the living room, Sophie's small voice. Miss Oliver? Vanessa's daughter. I'd forgotten she was still here. It's okay, sweetie. Can you keep playing for just a minute? Hoffman left without another word. I stood in my kitchen trying not to throw up. That night the email arrived. 7:13 p.m. Subject line. Notice of temporary license hold. I read it 4 times. Temporary hold pending review. No new enrollments. Weekly inspections. Investigation timeline, 2 to 4 weeks. I googled fake pornographic images with shaking hands. The term deepfake appeared in the first results. I'd heard it on the news. I'd never imagined it could happen to someone like me. I called Vanessa Park, one of my parents, also a civil rights attorney. Oliver? Everything okay? I need advice. Legal advice. I told her everything in a rush. The call, the inspection, the images, the suspension, silence. Then, don't talk to the board without representation. I've seen how they operate. They protect themselves first, ask questions later. So what do I do? Let me handle communications with them. And Oliver, this is going to get worse before it gets better. She was right. 3 days later, Mrs. Harrison pulled Lily out. Family situation, she said vaguely. Wouldn't meet my eyes. Within a week, 2 more families withdrew. I sat at my kitchen table at 2 a.m. Mortgage, $2,100. Utilities and insurance, $800. Total needed, $2,900. Previous income with 6 kids, $4,800. Current income with 3, $1,800. Deficit, $1,100. Savings, $4,200. Maybe 2 months before everything collapsed. Only one person had enough photos of me to create something like this. Alex, my ex-boyfriend. 4 years together. He'd proposed on a hiking trail overlooking the Columbia River Gorge. I'd said no. We broke up 3 months later. Afterward, he'd sent 47 texts in one night, begging to talk. Please, Oliver. Please. I'd blocked his number 13 months ago. But he still checked my Instagram. I'd posted a photo with my new boyfriend back in October. Alex would have seen it, my face, someone else's body. Alex had the photos, the skills, the motive. He was still watching me. I had 2 weeks to prove these images were fake, or I'd lose everything I'd spent 3 years building, and I was pretty sure I knew exactly who sent them. 3 days later, I walked into the state licensing office with a manila folder full of evidence. I'd spent 2 nights putting it together. Boarding passes for my Phoenix trip, hotel receipt from the Hilton downtown, my conference badge with the lanyard still attached, a group photo from the Saturday morning keynote where you could see me in the 3rd row, sitting between 2 other daycare providers I'd never met before that weekend. All time-stamped, all verifiable. Hoffman's office was on the 3rd floor, gray walls, fluorescent lights, a desk covered in identical manila folders like mine. He didn't stand when I came in. Miss Chen, have a seat. I sat, slid the folder across his desk. I brought proof. For the Phoenix image, I was at a conference that entire weekend. Here's my boarding pass, here's my hotel receipt, this is my conference badge, and this is a group photo from Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Hoffman opened the folder, looked through each document, made notes on a yellow legal pad. He didn't look up. These prove where you were on one date. What about the other images? My stomach sank. I don't know what dates those are supposed to be from. The images don't have backgrounds I recognize. So you can't provide alibis for those? I can't provide alibis for things that never happened. My voice came out sharper than I meant. Those images aren't real. Someone created them. Do you have proof of that? I need forensic analysis to prove it. That's why I'm asking the board too. We don't have the budget for that. He said it so casually, like he was telling me they were out of coffee. But you have the budget to suspend my license based on anonymous fake images? We have a responsibility to investigate credible allegations. These aren't credible. They're fabricated. Hoffman finally looked up. Do you know who might have sent them? Yes. I took a breath. My ex-boyfriend, Alex Lewinsky. We dated for 4 years. He proposed. I said no. We broke up 14 months ago and he didn't take it well. Not taking a breakup well isn't proof he created pornographic images. He has hundreds of photos of me from when we dated. He works in IT security, so he knows how to do this stuff. And after we broke up, he sent me 47 text messages in one night begging me to talk to him. I had to block his number. Hoffman wrote this down. Do you have proof he created them? Proof of motive isn't proof of action. That's why I need forensic analysis. You can hire your own expert if you'd like. How much does that cost? I wouldn't know. He closed my folder, slid it back across the desk. Your evidence regarding Phoenix is noted. We'll include it in the file. Your next inspection is scheduled for Monday at 9 a.m. I sat there, staring at him. That's it? That's all we can do at this stage, Ms. Chen. I left his office feeling more hopeless than when I'd arrived. I called the first forensic analysis company from my car in the parking lot. Digital Forensics Northwest, how can I help you? I need someone to analyze images to prove they're deep fakes. We can definitely help with that. Our full forensic analysis package is $8,500. That includes a detailed written report and... Wait, $8,500? Yes, ma'am. Digital forensics is highly specialized work. I thanked her and hung up. Second company. Cyber Evidence Solutions. This is Mark. Hi, I need forensic analysis for fake images. Deepfakes. How much does that cost? Our standard rate is $12,000 for analysis with expert testimony. If you just need the analysis without testimony, it's $9,500. How long does it take? 4 to 6 weeks depending on complexity. I thanked him. Hung up. Third company, smaller firm. I found them on page 3 of Google. Pacific Digital Forensics. I need deepfake analysis. What do you charge? $6,800 for full analysis. But I have to be honest with you, our turnaround time right now is 6 to 8 weeks. We're pretty backed up. I have a hearing in less than 2 weeks. We can't do it that fast. Sorry. I sat in my car, checked my bank account on my phone. Savings, $4,200. Mortgage due in 18 days, $2,100. That left me $2,100 for food, utilities, gas, insurance, everything else. I couldn't afford $6,800. I definitely couldn't afford $8,500 or $12,000. And even if I could, they couldn't do it in time. I tried Googling cheap deepfake analysis. The results were sketchy websites with broken English and no verifiable credentials. One site claimed they could analyze any image for $200 but had 0 reviews and a Gmail contact address. I couldn't use that in front of a licensing board. They'd laugh me out of the room. I sat there in that parking lot for 20 minutes, watching people walk in and out of the state building. People with normal problems, permit applications, license renewals. Not this. The system wanted proof. The system wouldn't pay for proof. And I couldn't afford to buy proof myself. I was trapped. That night, Maya texted me. Maya was a mutual friend, someone I'd known through Alex. We'd stayed friendly after the breakup, but hadn't talked much. Hey, just wanted to check in. Alex mentioned you've been going through something. I stared at my phone. Alex mentioned. He was talking about me, to our old friends, while I was drowning. I typed back. What did he say? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Just that you were dealing with some personal stuff. He seemed worried about you, worried. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Instead, I Googled my daycare name. Little Steps Childcare Portland. My website came up first. My Facebook page second. Third result, Yelp. I clicked it with shaking hands. 1 review, 1 star. Posted December 18th. Unprofessional owner, unstable environment. Would not recommend for your children's safety. December, 3 weeks before the licensing board complaint. I clicked on the reviewer's profile. David M. Account created December 2024. This was his only review, not a real person, a fake account. I kept Googling, checked the second page, the third page, nothing else came up. Small relief. At least it was just the 1 review, but my paranoia was growing. What else was he doing? I opened Instagram. My account was already private, but I checked my follower count anyway. 243 followers. I could have sworn it was 240 yesterday. 3 new followers. I scrolled through my recent followers. 2 accounts I didn't recognize. No profile pictures, no posts. Created within the last month. The third account had a generic landscape photo and 15 followers. Fake accounts. Had to be. Was he watching my stories? Monitoring who I talked to? I made my account more private, changed my settings so only people I followed back could see anything. Then I went to Facebook, Twitter, made everything private. I felt like I was hiding in my own life. 4 days later, Hoffman called. I was washing lunch dishes. Vanessa's daughter Sophie was the only kid left that day. Ms. Chen, I'm calling to inform you that the board needs additional time for a thorough investigation. My stomach dropped. How much additional time? 4 to 6 weeks. What? I almost dropped the plate I was holding. You said 2 to 4 weeks. The investigation is more complex than initially anticipated. You haven't investigated anything. My voice rose. I brought you evidence. You told me to hire my own expert. Now you need more time to do what exactly? We're following proper protocol, Ms. Chen. Your protocol is destroying my business. I understand your frustration, but do you? Do you understand that I've lost half my income, that I can barely pay my mortgage? Silence on the other end. Your next inspection is Monday at 9 a.m. He hung up. I stood there holding my phone. Sophie looked up from her coloring book. Miss Oliver, are you sad? I forced a smile. I'm okay, sweetie. But I wasn't okay. I called Vanessa as soon as she picked Sophie up. They extended the suspension. 4 to 6 more weeks. Jesus. Vanessa sounded genuinely angry. On what grounds? Hoffman said they need more time for a thorough investigation. But Vanessa, they're not investigating anything. They're just covering their asses. That's exactly what they're doing, she paused. The board isn't trying to find the truth. They're trying to protect themselves from liability. What does that mean? It means they're terrified of being the board that missed something and a child got hurt. So they're taking the safest route for them, which is keeping you suspended until you prove yourself innocent. That's backwards. Welcome to licensing boards. She sighed. Oliver, I want to officially represent you. Pro bono. No charge. I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. I've dealt with this board before on other cases. They respond to pressure, legal pressure. Something in my chest loosened slightly. Okay, yes. Thank you. I'll draft a formal response to their extension. And I'll request all documentation related to their investigation. If they haven't actually done anything, we'll have proof of that. After we hung up, I sat on my couch in the silent daycare. For the first time since this started, someone believed me enough to fight for me. It wasn't much, but it was something. I just hoped it would be enough. That hope lasted exactly 3 days. Mrs. Patel called on Thursday morning. Oliver, I'm so sorry. We can't bring Arjun back. My heart sank. Is everything okay? You've been wonderful with him, truly, but my husband and I talked and we just can't take the risk right now. Mrs. Patel, those allegations aren't true. I'm working with a lawyer too. I believe you. I do, but until this is resolved, we need to find other arrangements. She sounded genuinely sorry. That almost made it worse. After we hung up, I did the math. 2 families left. Vanessa and the Nguyen's. Income, $1,200 per month. Mortgage, $2,100. Utilities, $400. Car payment, $280. Insurance, $150. Groceries, $300. I needed $3,230 every month to survive. I was short $2,030. My savings wouldn't last 6 weeks. I called my parents. My hands were shaking so badly I almost couldn't dial. Hi, honey. Mom sounded cheerful. How's everything? I need to borrow money. Silence. How much? $2,000 for my mortgage. I'll pay you back as soon as... What happened? Her voice shifted, worry replacing cheer. Are you in some kind of trouble? I couldn't tell her about the images. Couldn't explain deepfakes to my 63-year-old mother who still called her laptop the computer machine. There's a licensing issue. Someone filed a false complaint. The board suspended me while they investigate. A false complaint about what? I can't really talk about it, but, Mom, I promise you, I didn't do anything wrong. Another long silence. We'll transfer the money today. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'll pay you back. Don't worry about that right now. Just take care of yourself. After we hung up, I sat on my empty daycare floor and felt like the biggest failure in the world, 29 years old, begging my parents for rent money. 2 days later, I realized my sister hadn't brought Emma by all week. Jessica usually dropped off my 4-year-old niece every Tuesday and Thursday while she worked from home. Emma loved playing with the other kids, but this week, nothing. I texted her. Everything okay? Haven't seen Emma. Super busy with work, crazy schedule. That was it. No details, no apology. I called her. Hey, I can't really talk right now. Jessica, what's going on? Nothing. I just need to figure things out. Figure what out? My voice rose. You think I did something? Silence on the other end. Jessica? I don't know what to think, Oliver. The state doesn't investigate people for no reason. There must be some truth to... There's no truth to it. Someone fabricated evidence to destroy me. That sounds kind of paranoid. Paranoid? I was almost yelling now. My ex-boyfriend created fake pornographic images of me and sent them to the licensing board. That's not paranoia. That's what happened. If that's true, why haven't the police arrested him? Because investigations take time. Because the system moves slowly. Because I have to protect Emma. You understand that, right? I'm your sister. And she's my daughter. I hung up. Then I sat on my couch in my empty daycare and cried for the first time since this nightmare started. Even my own sister didn't believe me. The system I trusted to protect me was protecting itself instead. I was running out of money, running out of time, and running out of people who believed me. I couldn't sleep that night. At 3 a.m., I was sitting at my kitchen table with my laptop, Googling how to prove deepfake. The search results were overwhelming. Technical articles about GANs and neural networks. News stories about celebrities and politicians. Nothing that told me what to actually do. I kept scrolling. Page 3. An article from MIT Technology Review about UC Berkeley's Digital Forensics Lab. Dr. Hani Farid, expert in detecting manipulated images. I clicked through to Berkeley's website, read about their research. They were studying deepfake detection methods, developing new tools to identify synthetic media. At the bottom of the page, research participants needed. They were looking for real-world cases to analyze. My hands started shaking. I clicked the link. It opened a form, name, email, description of case. The description box was blank, cursor blinking. I looked at the time, 3:47 a.m. I started typing. My name is Oliver Chen. I run a licensed daycare in Portland, Oregon. Someone created deepfake pornographic images of my face and sent them anonymously to the state licensing board. My license has been suspended. I'm losing my business. I can't afford a private forensic analyst. I need help proving these images are fake. I kept typing, told them about Alex, about the breakup, about the Phoenix conference where I could prove I wasn't in that hotel room. It was the first time I'd written out the whole story. My hands were shaking so badly I had to retype half the sentences. At 4:03 a.m., I hit submit. I didn't expect anything to come from it. Research labs probably got hundreds of requests, but it was something. I kept Googling. Portland Cybercrime Division. Found the Portland Police Bureau's website, Cyber and Financial Crimes Unit, Detective Michaela Torres. 15 years with the department, specialized in online harassment cases. I wrote down her direct number. The sun was coming up. I hadn't slept at all. I met Vanessa at a coffee shop 2 days later. Not at the daycare. She'd insisted. Walls have ears, she'd said. We sat in a corner booth. I ordered black coffee I didn't drink. Vanessa pulled out a legal pad. We need to build a parallel case outside the board. What does that mean? The board is moving slowly because they have no incentive to move fast. They're protected either way. But if there's a criminal investigation happening, suddenly they care about liability. She drew 2 columns on her legal pad. 2 tracks, forensic proof, criminal investigation. I can't afford forensic analysis. I know, that's why you submitted that research form to Berkeley. That was smart. How did you? You told me about it yesterday. Remember? I didn't remember. My brain was fog. Right, sorry. Vanessa wrote Detective Torres in the criminal investigation column. She's good. I've worked with her on 2 other cases. She actually cares about this stuff. What do I tell her? Everything. File a police report for harassment and identity theft. The images are revenge porn under Oregon law, even if they're fake. The Yelp review, the text messages after you broke up, all of it. Will she actually investigate? Torres will. But Oliver, I need to warn you. This will get worse before it gets better. Once you file a police report, Alex will know you're fighting back. My coffee was cold. I wrapped both hands around the cup anyway. What will he do? I don't know, but people who do this don't like losing control. He's already escalated from messages to creating fake images to filing a false complaint. He's not going to stop because you ask nicely. So what do I do? Just let him destroy everything? No. You fight back, but you need to be prepared. I thought about my mortgage payment, about my sister who wouldn't talk to me, about sitting in that empty daycare every day with only 2 kids. I can't just wait for them to take everything. Vanessa closed her legal pad. Good. Then let's go to war. She slid a business card across the table. Detective Torres' contact information. Call her Monday morning, tell her I referred you, file the report, get this on record. What if she doesn't believe me? She will. I've seen the pattern before. Ex-boyfriend with tech skills, harassment after breakup, escalating behavior. Torres has handled dozens of cases like this. Dozens? This isn't as rare as you think. You're just the first person I know who had it weaponized against a professional license. That made me feel worse somehow, that this happened to lots of women, that I was just one more. What about the board? I'm drafting a formal response to their extension request. I'm also requesting all documentation related to their investigation. If they haven't actually done anything, we'll have proof they're just stalling. She stood up, put a hand on my shoulder. You're not alone in this anymore. Okay, I nodded, didn't trust myself to speak. After she left, I sat in that coffee shop for another hour. 2 tracks. Forensic proof. Criminal investigation. For the first time since this started, I had a plan. I just hoped I was strong enough to follow through. Monday morning, I walked into Portland Police Bureau with Vanessa's business card in my pocket. The building smelled like burnt coffee and stress. I asked for Detective Torres at the front desk. She's expecting you, the officer said. 3rd floor. Detective Michaela Torres was maybe mid-40s, short dark hair, no-nonsense expression. Her office was tiny and packed with file boxes. Miss Chen, Vanessa said you'd be coming in. She gestured to a chair. Tell me what happened. I told her everything, the anonymous complaint, the deepfake images, the licensing suspension, Alex, the breakup, the 47 text messages, the Yelp review. Torres took notes the whole time, didn't interrupt once. When I finished, she looked up. I'm going to be straight with you. These cases are hard to prosecute. Digital evidence is complicated. Defense attorneys love to create reasonable doubt about who actually created the images. My heart sank. But, she continued, I see a clear pattern here. Stalking behavior after the breakup, escalating harassment. The images are revenge porn under Oregon law even if they're fake. So you'll investigate? I'm already investigating. She tapped her pen on her notepad. Tell me about your relationship with Alex Lewinsky. I told her about the 4 years together, the proposal on the hiking trail, how I'd said no, how we'd tried to make it work for 3 more months before I finally ended it. He didn't take it well. He sent me 47 text messages in one night, begging me to talk to him, saying I owed him closure. I blocked his number after that. Do you still have those messages? Screenshots, on my laptop at home. Torres wrote this down. That's harassment. The images are escalation. Classic pattern. She leaned back in her chair. Here's what happens next. I'll start a formal investigation. I'll need to subpoena his phone records, internet activity, financial records. That takes time. Usually 4 to 6 weeks. I have a board hearing in less than 3 weeks. I know, I can't promise we'll have everything by then, but I'll push it as urgent. She looked at me directly. Can you document everything he's done? Every contact attempt, every suspicious account, every review. There's a fake Yelp review, 1 star, posted in December, 3 weeks before the complaint. Torres wrote this down. Send me the link. I'll request IP logs from Yelp. Will they give you that? Eventually. With a subpoena, she handed me her card. Keep a record of everything from now on. Screenshots, dates, times. If he contacts you or anyone you know, I need to know immediately. I took the card. My hands were shaking. Detective Torres, do you believe me? She didn't hesitate. Yes. That one word almost broke me. 5 days after I filed the police report, I got an email. From Chen Liu, UC Berkeley Digital Forensics Lab. Subject, Research Participant Application. I opened it with shaking hands. Dear Ms. Chen, I've reviewed your case and accepted it as part of my dissertation research on deepfake detection. I've done preliminary analysis of the images you submitted. These are definitely manipulated images. I can see clear signs of synthetic generation. I started crying right there at my kitchen table. Someone believed me. Someone with actual expertise looked at those images and confirmed I wasn't crazy. The email continued. A full forensic analysis will take 3 to 4 weeks. I can see inconsistencies in lighting around the jaw and neck area. Pixel-level artifacts consistent with AI generation. Metadata issues that don't match the alleged timestamps. 3 to 4 weeks. I typed back immediately. Thank you so much for taking my case. I need to tell you that the licensing board hearing is scheduled in 3 weeks. I don't know if that changes anything. His response came 20 minutes later. I'll try to expedite the analysis, but proper forensic work can't be rushed. These images will be scrutinized in legal proceedings. The analysis needs to be thorough and defensible. I understood, but my stomach still dropped. I wrote back. I understand. Thank you for helping me. This means more than you know. His final email came an hour later. This is exactly why I'm studying this. Too many victims get blamed for fake images. The technology is advancing faster than the legal system can keep up. Your case will help establish protocols for others. I printed that email, put it in a folder with all my other documentation. Someone at UC Berkeley believed me. Detective Torres believed me. Vanessa believed me. 3 people. That was 3 more than I'd had 2 weeks ago. I looked at my calendar. 18 days until the board hearing. Chen's full report wouldn't be ready. Torres's investigation wouldn't be complete. But at least I wasn't fighting alone anymore. At least someone with a PhD was going to look at those images and write an official report saying they were fake. That had to count for something. It had to. 2 days later, Maya texted me. Alex is really upset you filed a police report against him. I stared at my phone. I hadn't told anyone except Vanessa and Torres about the police report. I typed back. How do you know about that? 3 dots appeared. He told a few of us. Said you're trying to ruin his life over a bad breakup. My stomach dropped. The police must have interviewed him, or served him with something. Somehow he knew. And now he was telling people his version first. I put my phone down, hands shaking. That feeling came back. The one where I couldn't tell if I was being paranoid or if he really was everywhere. That night I got an email. From a throwaway Gmail account, random letters and numbers. Subject line, last warning. Body, you don't want me to release the other versions. Drop it. I screenshot it immediately, hands fumbling with my phone, forwarded it to Torres, to Vanessa. Then I sat there staring at those words. Other versions. What other versions? Were there more images? Worse images? I opened my laptop, Googled my name plus deepfake. Nothing came up. Googled my name plus porn. Still nothing. Checked every few hours. 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., nothing. But I couldn't sleep. Couldn't stop checking. Every time my phone buzzed, I thought it would be someone telling me they'd seen something online. Torres called the next morning. Got your email. He's making mistakes. That's good for us. How is threatening me good? Because it's intimidation. It's evidence of consciousness of guilt. But Ms. Chen, we can't trace a Gmail account without a subpoena. And that takes time. I was so tired of hearing that things took time. Did he ever have access to your computer or phone? Torres asked. I thought back. During our relationship, yeah. He knew all my passwords. Did you change them after the breakup? I thought I did. My voice got quieter. But I'm not sure I changed everything. Check your login activity, Instagram, Facebook, email. See if there are devices you don't recognize. I pulled up Instagram on my laptop, clicked through to settings, login activity. My current phone, my laptop, one more device, iPhone 11. Last active 8 months ago. I didn't have an iPhone 11. I'd never had an iPhone 11. Alex had an iPhone 11. Detective Torres, there's a device logged into my Instagram that isn't mine. Last active 8 months ago. That's how he knew about your new boyfriend. He's been watching your social media this whole time. I felt sick. Revoke access to that device immediately. Change your password. Use something he couldn't guess. I did it right there on the call. Change my Instagram password, my Facebook password, my email password. 8 months. He'd been watching me for 8 months. Miss Chen, I need you to do something else. I need all communication between you and Alex from the last 2 years. Emails, texts, social media messages, everything. That's a lot. I know, but I need to establish the pattern. After we hung up, I started digging. Old emails in my trash folder, text message screenshots I'd saved before blocking him, direct messages on Instagram before I'd deleted the conversation. It took me 3 hours to compile everything. The 47 messages from that one night. Please, Oliver, just talk to me. You owe me that much. I deserve closure. Emails from 2 months after the breakup. I saw you posted a photo with someone new. That was fast. Guess I never meant much to you. Then I remembered something else. My ex-boyfriend. The one I'd started dating last fall. The one whose photo I'd posted on Instagram. He'd mentioned something weird. That someone had messaged him on LinkedIn. I texted him. Do you still have that LinkedIn message? The one warning you about me? He replied 20 minutes later with a screenshot. From Alex Lewinsky. Sent 6 months ago. Just wanted to warn you about Oliver. She's not stable. She broke up our 4-year relationship out of nowhere and refused to give me any explanation. Be careful with her. She has issues. I forwarded it to Torres. She called me back within an hour. This is perfect. He contacted your new partner to interfere with your relationship. That's stalking behavior. Combined with everything else, we're building a solid case. Will it be ready in time for the hearing? Silence. I'm pushing everything as urgent, but these things take time. There it was again. Time. I had preliminary proof the images were fake from Chenlu, but not the full report. I had Torres investigating, but no arrest, no charges, no concrete proof it was Alex. Just patterns, just circumstantial evidence, just me saying it was him. I had 11 days until the board hearing. 11 days to prove my entire life wasn't built on lies someone else created. 5 days before the hearing, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I was at the daycare. Sophie was napping. I let it go to voicemail. The notification popped up 2 minutes later. I played it. Alex's voice, shaking, angry. I know what you're doing. You're trying to destroy me. I have evidence too. Evidence of things you did. The message cut off. I stood there in my empty daycare holding my phone. Evidence of what? I hadn't done anything. That was the whole point. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone when I called Torres. I just got a voicemail from Alex. I'm forwarding it now. Don't respond, Torres said immediately. He's trying to get you to engage. To call him back. To give him something he can use. He said he has evidence against me. He's bluffing. This voicemail is actually good for us. Shows consciousness of guilt. Why would he be this defensive if he didn't do anything? I heard what she was saying, but my brain kept looping on those words. Evidence of things you did. After I hung up with Torres, I called Vanessa. You need a restraining order, she said. Now, not next week. Now. Will that actually stop him? No. But it creates a legal paper trail. And if he violates it, he gets arrested immediately. We filed the petition that afternoon. Temporary restraining order based on harassment and threats. Court date, 9 days away, which meant I might have to see him. In court. For the first time since the breakup 14 months ago. The thought made me physically sick. I hadn't seen his face except in my nightmares for over a year. Now I might have to sit in the same room while a judge decided if he was dangerous enough to require a legal order to stay away from me. I had preliminary proof the images were fake, but Chen's full analysis wouldn't be ready for 5 weeks. The board hearing was in 3. And now Alex knew I was building a case against him. 2 days later, my mortgage payment bounced. I was checking my bank account at the kitchen table when I saw it. Insufficient funds. The email from the bank came an hour later. 15-day notice. Foreclosure process would begin if payment wasn't received. I called my parents. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Hi, honey. Mom sounded cheerful. I need to borrow more money. Silence. How much? $2,100 for this month, probably the same next month. Oliver, what's really going on? I'd been holding it together for weeks, but something about my mom's voice broke me. Someone made fake pornographic images of me and sent them to the state licensing board. My ex-boyfriend, the one I dated for 4 years, he used AI or something to put my face on someone else's body, and now the board suspended my license and I'm losing everything and I can't afford a forensic analyst and the police are investigating, but it takes time and I only have 2 families left and I can't pay my mortgage and I'm so tired, Mom, I'm so tired. It all came out in one long breath. Silence on the other end. Then my mom's voice, tight and furious. Someone did what? Made fake images of me. They're called deepfakes. They're not real, but they look real, and the licensing board doesn't care that I have proof I wasn't even in those places when the photos were supposedly taken, and put your father on the line. I heard muffled conversation. Then my dad's voice. Honey, we're sending you money right now. How much do you need total? I don't know, maybe $4,000 to be safe. Done. It'll be in your account in an hour. I'll pay you back. I promise. And we're not worried about that. We're worried about you. After we hung up, I sat at my kitchen table and felt like the biggest failure on the planet. 29 years old, master's degree in early childhood education, 3 years building a business from nothing. And now, I was begging my parents for rent money because my ex-boyfriend decided to destroy me. I checked my bank account, did the math for the 100th time. With the money from my parents, I had enough for 2 months. Maybe 2.5 if I ate nothing but ramen. After that, I'd lose the house. The Nguyens had called yesterday. They were pulling their son out too. Something about the husband seeing a post on Facebook. Which meant starting next week, my only income would be Vanessa. $600 a month. I needed $3,000 a month minimum to survive. I was $2,400 short. Every month. For however long this investigation took. However long it took Chen to finish his analysis. However long it took the board to make a decision. However long it took Torres to build a case strong enough to arrest Alex. Time. Everyone kept telling me these things took time. But time was the one thing I didn't have. My phone buzzed. Text from Vanessa. Board just scheduled your hearing for next Monday, 2 p.m. I'll be there. 7 days. I had 7 days to prove those images were fake with an incomplete forensic report and an ongoing police investigation that hadn't produced any charges yet. 7 days before the board decided if I got to keep my license or if I lost everything I'd spent 3 years building. I looked around my empty daycare, the toys organized on shelves, the little tables and chairs, the artwork on the walls from kids who weren't coming back. I'd done everything right. Background checks, first aid certification, nutrition training. I'd followed every single regulation, and none of it mattered because someone could just create fake images and destroy it all. The next morning, Mrs. Nguyen showed up at drop-off time with her son still in the car. She got out, walked up to my door, started crying before she even said hello. I'm so sorry. My husband insists we pull Leo out. My stomach dropped. Mrs. Nguyen, what happened? He saw something online. About the investigation. What online? Where? I don't know exactly. Some neighborhood Facebook group. He showed me last night and said we can't take any risks. After she left, I searched for every Portland neighborhood Facebook group I could find. Found it on the third try. Selwood Families Network. Post from 3 days ago. Anonymous account with a generic stock photo profile picture. Just a heads up for parents in the area. There's a local childcare provider currently under investigation by the state licensing board. I can't share details but wanted other parents to be aware. Stay safe out there, no name, but enough details that anyone who knew me could figure it out. 2 comments underneath. Do you know which one? I messaged you privately. I couldn't see the private messages, couldn't see who posted it. But I knew. Alex. Had to be. My income was now $600 a month, just Vanessa. Everyone else was gone. Hoffman showed up for the weekly inspection the next day. I'd cleaned everything twice. Not that it mattered. The place was empty, except for Sophie. He walked through the rooms with his clipboard, made notes, didn't say anything. When he finished, he sat at my kitchen table. Ms. Chen, have you considered that maybe childcare isn't the right fit for you? I stared at him. What? I'm suggesting you have options. Your license suspension could become permanent, based on fake images. Or you could voluntarily surrender your license. Avoid the mark on your record entirely. It clicked. He wanted me to quit, to make this easy for everyone. Are you seriously suggesting I just give up? I'm suggesting you consider your future. A voluntary surrender looks much better than a revoked license. I'm not surrendering anything. Those images are fake. Hoffman sighed, flipped through papers on his clipboard. Have you obtained forensic analysis proving that? It's in progress. The hearing is in 5 days, Ms. Chen. I know exactly how many days it is. Then you understand the board will make a decision based on the evidence presented, which is fake evidence, which is evidence you haven't yet proven is fake. He stood up, collected his clipboard. Think about what I said. A voluntary surrender might be your best option here. After he left, I sat in my empty daycare and tried not to panic. Chen's report wasn't done. He'd emailed yesterday. Still working on it. Maybe another 2 weeks. 2 weeks. My hearing was in 5 days. Torres hadn't made an arrest. Hadn't even gotten the subpoena results back yet. I had preliminary findings from Chen, but not the full 23-page forensic analysis that could actually prove anything. I had Alex's threatening voicemail, but no proof he created the images. I had patterns, suspicious timing, the Yelp review, the LinkedIn message, but no smoking gun. Hoffman was right. The board would make a decision based on evidence presented, and right now the only concrete evidence was 5 pornographic images with my face on them. Everything else was circumstantial. I called Vanessa. Hoffman just suggested I voluntarily surrender my license. Absolutely not. Don't even consider it. But what if Chen's report isn't ready? What if we go into that hearing with nothing but preliminary findings? Then we present what we have. Your travel documentation, Torres's investigation, Chen's preliminary analysis, the pattern of harassment. That's not enough. Silence on her end. Vanessa? It might not be. I won't lie to you, but surrendering guarantees you lose. Fighting gives you a chance. Some chance. It's better than no chance. After we hung up, I opened my laptop, checked my email for the 100th time that day. Nothing from Chen, nothing from Torres. Just an email from the bank. Another late fee on my mortgage. 5 days until the hearing. 5 days to somehow prove my innocence with incomplete evidence and an investigation that was moving too slowly. I looked at Sophie coloring at the little table. The last kid left in my daycare. If I lost this hearing, I'd never work in childcare again. 3 years of building a business. Gone. And Alex would get exactly what he wanted. To destroy me completely. That afternoon, I had to go grocery shopping. I'd been putting it off for days, living on toast and peanut butter. But I was completely out of food. I saw Jennifer at the produce section. Her 3-year-old was with her. She'd asked me about daycare openings 2 months ago. Our eyes met. She grabbed her kid's hand and walked the other direction. Fast, like I was contagious. At checkout, the cashier was Mark. Nice guy. We'd chatted dozens of times about nothing important. He scanned my groceries without looking at me. Didn't say hi, didn't smile, just bagged everything in silence and handed me the receipt. I drove home past the elementary school bus stop. 3 moms were standing there talking. I knew 2 of them. When I drove by, they stopped talking. All 3 turned to look at me, then went right back to their conversation. I felt like everyone knew something I didn't, like there was a secret meeting where they all decided I was guilty. I got home and checked that Facebook post again. 47 comments now. People speculating about what I did, guessing which daycare, sharing theories. One comment made my stomach turn. I always thought something was off about her. From someone I didn't even recognize, someone who'd probably never met me. I wanted to comment, to defend myself, to scream that these were lies, but Vanessa had warned me, don't engage publicly, it only makes it worse. So I just sat there reading strangers tear apart my reputation. That night, Jessica called. I saw her name on my phone, almost didn't answer. Hello? I need to ask you something and I need you to be honest. Her voice was tight, angry. About what? Did you actually do something? Just tell me the truth. My chest felt like it was collapsing. Are you serious right now? Yes, I'm serious. Mom and Dad are sending you thousands of dollars. You've been under investigation for over a month. There must be something. You think I made porn? I don't know what to think. I'm your sister. And I need to know the truth. Mom told me about the deepfakes. But Oliver, that sounds really convenient. Blame it on technology. Convenient? My voice rose. You think this is convenient for me? I saw a TikTok about women who blame deepfakes for their own nudes, about how it's becoming an excuse. I couldn't breathe. My own sister was getting her information from TikTok instead of believing me. Those images aren't real. Someone created them. My ex-boyfriend created them to destroy my business because I wouldn't marry him. That sounds paranoid. Paranoid? The police are investigating him right now. A detective is building a case. A forensic analyst from UC Berkeley is analyzing the images. Then why hasn't he been arrested? Because investigations take time. Or because there's nothing to investigate. Silence. Jessica, I'm your sister. And I have a daughter. I can't bring her around if there's any chance. I hung up. Just pressed end and threw my phone onto the couch. Then I looked around my empty daycare. Toys organized on shelves that nobody played with anymore. Little tables and chairs for kids who weren't coming back. Artwork on the walls from children whose parents now avoided me at the grocery store. I'd spent 3 years building this, getting my license, passing inspections, creating a safe place for kids. And now even my own sister thought I was lying. I sat on the floor, surrounded by everything I was about to lose. And I cried. Not the quiet tears I'd been holding back for weeks. Full body sobs that made my chest hurt. Because what was the point of fighting if nobody believed me anyway? The board didn't believe me. Half my family didn't believe me. My neighbors didn't believe me. Alex had won. He'd destroyed my reputation so thoroughly that even people who'd known me for years now looked at me like I was dangerous. And I had 4 days until a hearing where I'd have to prove my innocence with incomplete evidence while everyone assumed I was guilty. 4 days. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. It buzzed again. I picked it up. Text from Vanessa. Chen just emailed. He's working overnight to finish the report. Says he's found something big. I stared at the message. Something big. I didn't let myself hope. Hope hurt too much. But I texted back anyway. What did he find? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. He didn't say. But he used 3 exclamation points. Chen doesn't use exclamation points. I sat there on my daycare floor with my phone in my hand. Maybe there was still a chance. Maybe Chen would finish in time. Maybe his analysis would be enough. Maybe the board would actually listen. Maybe, but probably not. The next afternoon, I was reading to Sophie. The Very Hungry Caterpillar, her favorite book. We'd read it 3 times already that week. Halfway through, I couldn't breathe. My chest got tight, vision narrowing at the edges, heart pounding so hard I thought it would break through my ribs. Miss Oliver? Sophie's voice sounded far away. I tried to smile, tried to keep reading, but the words on the page were blurring and my hands were shaking so badly I dropped the book. Miss Oliver, are you okay? I couldn't answer. Couldn't get Aaron. I fumbled for my phone, called Vanessa. She answered on the first ring. Oliver? Can't breathe. That was all I could get out. I'm coming right now. Stay on the line. I heard her door slam. Footsteps running. She lived 3 blocks away. Sophie was standing next to me now. Miss Oliver? I tried to nod. Tried to show her I was okay, but I wasn't okay. Vanessa burst through the door 2 minutes later, found me on the floor, hyperventilating. Sophie patting my hand, saying, "It's okay, Miss Oliver. It's okay." "Sophie, sweetie, can you go color at your table for a minute? Miss Oliver just needs some help." Sophie ran to her coloring book. Vanessa knelt next to me. "Look at me. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. I tried to follow. Failed. Gasped instead. Again. In for 4. She counted. I breathed. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. 5 minutes. Maybe 10. Finally, my vision cleared. My chest loosened. "You need to see your doctor," Vanessa said quietly. "This is PTSD." I nodded, too exhausted to argue. That night at 11 p.m., I got an email from Chen Liu. Subject, working late on your case. Dear Ms. Chen, I've been reading about your situation in my spare time. This is exactly the kind of harm I'm studying, the way deepfakes are being weaponized against ordinary people to destroy their lives and reputations. I'm going to work overnight to finish your analysis. You shouldn't lose everything because I'm slow. The report will be ready in 3 days. I read it twice. Then I cried. A stranger at UC Berkeley cared more about my case than my own sister did. I typed back through tears. Thank you. I can't tell you what this means to me. Thank you. The next morning, Torres called. We found something interesting. Alex paid for something with cryptocurrency in mid-February. My heart jumped. What did he pay for? We can't tell exactly yet. Need a subpoena for the exchange records, but the timing matches. 4 days before those images were sent to the licensing board. How long for the subpoena? Usually 4 to 6 weeks, but I'm pushing it as urgent. I did the math. Hearing in 3 days. Subpoena would take weeks. Torres must have heard my silence. We're building a strong case, Ms. Chen. Even if it's not ready for the hearing, we're building it. That doesn't help me keep my license. I know, but it helps put him in prison. After we hung up, I sat at my kitchen table and stared at the wall. 3 days. Chen's report would be done. Torres's investigation wouldn't be. That afternoon, Vanessa showed up with a canvas bag. Care package, she said, pulled out herbal tea, granola bars, a printout about PTSD resources. I've been making calls. Connected you with a therapist who specializes in cyber harassment. First session is tomorrow at 2. It's covered under victim services. Thank you. And one more thing. She pulled out a document. Temporary restraining order was granted. Alex can't contact you, can't come within 500 feet of you. When was he served? This morning. The officer said he didn't take it well. What does that mean? Vanessa hesitated. Let's just say the officer noted he was agitated and confrontational. Great, I'd made him angrier. Oliver, this is good. It establishes a pattern. Harassment. Threats. Now documented refusal to comply peacefully with a court order. It all helps. I nodded. But all I could think was that I'd poked an angry man with a legal stick, and now he was even more furious. 3 days until the hearing. Chen's report would be finished tomorrow. 23 pages of forensic analysis proving the images were fake. Torres had found the crypto payment but couldn't prove what it was for yet. Vanessa had filed documentation showing a pattern of harassment. I had my travel records from Phoenix, my conference badge, my group photo. It still might not be enough. The board wanted certainty. They wanted zero risk, and I couldn't give them that. I had 8 days until the hearing that would determine my entire future. The forensic report wasn't done. The criminal investigation wasn't done. I was down to $600 a month and having panic attacks in front of 4-year-olds. But for the first time since this started, I had people who actually believed me. Chen Liu working overnight on my case because he believed me. Detective Torres pushing urgent subpoenas because she believed me. Vanessa representing me for free because she believed me. 3 people. 3 people against a system that assumed I was guilty until I could prove otherwise. 3 people trying to stop one angry man from destroying everything I'd built. I just hoped it would be enough. 2 days before the hearing, I got an email from someone I'd never heard of. Sarah Medina. Portland Tribune. Subject line, request for interview. Licensing board procedures. My hands started shaking before I even opened it. Ms. Chen, I'm working on a piece about licensing board procedures in revenge porn cases. I saw your case in the public records. Would you be willing to talk on record? Public records. Anyone could see them. I forwarded it to Vanessa immediately. She called 30 seconds later. This could actually help. Help? A reporter wants to write about me. Oh, public pressure makes boards move faster. They hate bad press. But my name would be out there. Everyone would know. Everyone in your neighborhood already knows. This way you control the narrative. I didn't answer. It's risky, Vanessa admitted. But you're losing anyway if we don't do something. I called Sarah Medina that afternoon, hands shaking the whole time. Ms. Chen, thank you for calling. Her voice was warm, professional. I've covered 3 cases like yours. The board always sides with caution over justice. So what's the point of an article? Public accountability is sometimes the only thing that works. I didn't say anything. I've already done preliminary research, Sarah continued. Found the Yelp review. 1 star. Posted 3 weeks before the complaint. Very suspicious timing. My chest got tight. How did you find that? I'm good at patterns. Anonymous account created the same month. Only review. Then 3 weeks later, anonymous complaint to the licensing board with explicit images. She'd connected dots I didn't even know existed. The board won't investigate those connections, Sarah said, but I will. I sat there holding my phone. Can I think about it? Of course. But I'm on deadline. If you want this published before your hearing, I need an answer by tomorrow. I spent the next 24 hours agonizing. Pro. Public pressure. Force the board to actually look at the evidence. Make Alex defend himself publicly. Con. Everyone would know. My name. My face. The fake porn images. I went to my first therapy session that afternoon. Dr. Rivera specialized in cyber harassment. She'd worked with dozens of victims. I told her about Sarah's offer. What does silence protect? Dr. Rivera asked. You or him? That question hit different. Silence protected Alex. Let him operate in shadows. Let him destroy me privately while everyone assumed I'd done something wrong. Silence didn't protect me. It was killing me. I called Sarah that night. I'll do the interview. On record. We met the next morning at a coffee shop. The interview took 3 hours. I told her everything. The suspension, the images, Alex, the 4-year relationship, the proposal I'd turned down, the breakup, the 47 text messages, blocking him, finding out he'd accessed my Instagram for 8 months, the Yelp review, the LinkedIn message to my new boyfriend, the threatening voicemail, the burner email. Sarah took notes, asked clarifying questions, never judged. The hardest part was describing the images without being graphic. They showed my face on someone else's body in explicit situations. Hotel rooms I'd never been in, clothes I'd never worn. Sarah nodded, wrote it down, moved on. She was professional, respectful. At the end, she said, I'll need to contact the board and Alex for comment. Standard journalism practice. He'll know I talked to you. He already knows you're fighting back. You filed a police report, got a restraining order. This is just the next step. When will it publish? Day after tomorrow, before your hearing. After she left, I sat in that coffee shop for another hour. I just told a reporter my entire story. In 2 days, everyone would know. My parents, my sister, my neighbors, everyone in Portland who read the Tribune. They'd know about the fake porn, about Alex, about everything. I couldn't decide if I'd just made the best decision of my life or the worst. But I was done being silent. Dr. Rivera was right. Silence only protected him. I texted Vanessa. I did the interview. She replied immediately. Good. Now we go to war. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the article, what Sarah would write, how people would react. My phone buzzed at midnight. Email from Chen Liu. Subject, report finished. I opened it with shaking hands. Ms. Chen, the full forensic analysis is complete. 23 pages. I'm attaching it now. The images are definitively fake. I can prove it with 99.4% confidence. Good luck at your hearing. I downloaded the PDF. Opened it. 23 pages of technical analysis. Lighting inconsistencies, metadata problems, pixel-level artifacts, biometric facial mapping showing mathematically inconsistent bone structure. Conclusion. These images are synthetic creations, not authentic photographs. I forwarded it to Vanessa immediately. Then I sat in my dark kitchen and cried. Not sad tears. Relief tears. I had proof. Real proof. From UC Berkeley. 23 pages of it. The article would publish tomorrow. The hearing was the day after. For the first time in 6 weeks, I had actual weapons to fight with. Not just my word against his. Not just circumstantial evidence. Real forensic proof. Public pressure. A criminal investigation. It still might not be enough, but at least I was fighting back. The morning before the article published, I got another email from Chen at 7 a.m. I'd been awake since 5, couldn't sleep, just kept refreshing my inbox. The email had an attachment, 23 pages. I opened it, started reading. Most of the technical terms went over my head. Neural network architectures, GAN artifacts, frequency domain analysis. But the conclusions were crystal clear. Images exhibit clear signs of synthetic generation. Lighting inconsistencies at jaw and neck transitions indicate composite construction. Metadata timestamps contradicted by subjects' verified travel records. Pixel-level analysis shows signatures consistent with deepfake software released December 2024. Biometric facial mapping shows mathematically inconsistent bone structure ratios. 3 to 7% deviation from subjects' actual facial proportions. And then the final conclusion. With 99.4% confidence, these images are synthetic creations, not authentic photographs. 99.4%. I read that line 5 times. Then I forwarded it to Vanessa and Torres. Vanessa called immediately. This is exactly what we needed. I'm submitting it to the board today. Will they actually read it? They'll have to. It's from UC Berkeley. Chen has a PhD. This isn't some sketchy online service. This is legitimate forensic analysis. But the hearing's tomorrow. I know. They'll have 24 hours to review it. That's enough. I wanted to believe her. The article went live at 9 a.m., Portland Tribune, front page of the local section. Local daycare provider claims deepfake revenge porn led to license suspension. My full name. My photo. The one I'd given Sarah. Me smiling at a work event last year. Details about the case. The anonymous complaint. The suspension. Alex's name. Everything. The article was balanced. Sarah had done her job. Included a statement from the licensing board. No comment on ongoing investigations. Included a statement from Alex's lawyer. Mr. Lewinsky denies any wrongdoing and looks forward to clearing his name. I checked the view count. 600 views in the first hour. By noon, it was at 8,000. By 3 p.m., it was at 15,000. The comment section was a nightmare. Some people were supportive. This is terrifying. Deepfakes are being weaponized against ordinary women. Some were skeptical. Convenient excuse, blame technology for your own mistakes. Some were victim blaming. What did she do to make him this angry? There's always 2 sides. My phone started buzzing, texts from people I hadn't talked to in years. Oh my God, Oliver, I just saw the article. I had no idea you were going through this. Can I do anything to help? Most were supportive. A few asked invasive questions. Were the images actually explicit? Like, how bad were they? I didn't respond to those. My parents called at 4 p.m. We saw the article. My mom's voice was shaking. Why didn't you tell us it was this bad? I was ashamed. My voice broke. Even though it wasn't my fault, I felt dirty. Like somehow I'd caused it. And silence on the other end. Then my dad's voice. That son of a bitch. If I ever see him. Dad, no. There's a restraining order. Let the system work. The system let this happen in the first place. He wasn't wrong. We're coming to your hearing tomorrow, my mom said. We'll be there. After we hung up, I sat on my couch and watched the view count climb. 17,000, 19,000, 21,000. People were sharing it, commenting, arguing in the comments about whether I was telling the truth. My life was now public entertainment. But Vanessa was right. The board would see it. They'd see the public attention. They'd see Chen's forensic report. They'd see Torres's investigation. They'd see that this wasn't just some private complaint anymore. This was news. That night, I got a text from Maya. Just saw the article. I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was this bad. Alex told us you were being dramatic. I didn't respond. Another text from an old coworker. Holy shit. I believe you. That's horrifying. Another from a neighbor. Saw the Tribune piece. We're on your side. Not everyone, but enough people. My phone kept buzzing until I finally turned it on silent. I pulled up Chen's report one more time. Read the conclusion again. With 99.4% confidence, these images are synthetic creations. Then I opened the article. Read Sarah's final paragraph. Ms. Chen's hearing is scheduled for tomorrow at 2 p.m. The licensing board will determine whether she can continue operating her daycare or if her license will be permanently revoked. Meanwhile, Portland police are investigating her allegations against her ex-boyfriend, tomorrow at 2 p.m. 14 hours away. I had Chen's report. I had the article. I had Torres's investigation. I had Vanessa. I had everything I'd been building for 6 weeks, and tomorrow I'd find out if any of it mattered. I tried to sleep. Couldn't. Just lay in bed staring at the ceiling. At midnight, my phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. You're going to regret this. Screenshot. Forward to Torres. Forward to Vanessa. Then I turned my phone completely off. Tomorrow would either save me or destroy me. There was nothing left to do but wait. Within hours of the article going live, Maya texted me again. Alex is losing it. He's calling everyone. Says you're trying to destroy his life. Then another text. He's telling everyone the images are real and you're lying. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, Derek texted. mutual friend from our old group. Hey, I don't know what's going on between you two, but Alex showed me messages that seem pretty concerning. My stomach dropped. What messages? He sent screenshots, text conversations, supposedly from me to Alex. You're going to pay for what you did. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. Watch your back. I stared at them. I'd never sent those messages, never typed those words. I checked the timestamps, dates from when I had him blocked. Couldn't have texted him even if I'd wanted to. The font was slightly off too. The blue bubbles looked wrong. The spacing between lines too tight. He'd faked them, created fake text screenshots. I forwarded everything to Torres immediately. She called back 5 minutes later. He's digging himself deeper. These are obviously fabricated. How can you tell? The timestamps don't match carrier records. We already pulled your phone logs. You haven't contacted him once since you blocked him 13 months ago. Will this help? It shows he's fabricating evidence. Shows he's panicking. I'm accelerating the investigation. The hearing's tomorrow. I know. After we hung up, I looked at those fake screenshots again. Alex was trying to make me look threatening, make me look unstable. Even now, even with everything crashing down around him, he was still trying to destroy me. Torres called again at 8 p.m. Major update. This subpoena came through. My heart jumped. Already? The judge prioritized it after the article. Public interest case now. What did you find? We tracked the crypto payment. Alex's verified Coinbase account sent $340 in Bitcoin to a known deepfake service provider. I couldn't breathe. You can prove he paid for them? It's documented. Coinbase has KYC requirements. Know your customer. His ID is on file. His bank account is linked. We can prove he converted US dollars to Bitcoin on February 14th. 4 days before the images were sent to the board. Exactly 4 days. Oh my God. He used a regulated exchange. Left a complete paper trail. If he'd used a privacy coin or an unregulated exchange, this would have been much harder. My hands were shaking. Is this enough to arrest him? We're getting there. We also obtained a warrant for his devices. We're executing it tomorrow morning. Before the hearing? Right before. If we find the images on his computer, if we find evidence of the deepfake software, it's case closed. I sat down. My legs wouldn't hold me anymore. Ms. Chen, I want to be clear. Even without what we find tomorrow, we have enough for charges. The crypto payment alone proves he paid for deepfake creation services at the exact time these images appeared. Combined with the harassment pattern, the fake text messages, the Yelp review, we have a solid case. But will it be enough for the board? Silence. I don't know, that's not my jurisdiction. But it's enough to put him in prison. After we hung up, I just sat there in my kitchen. Torres had proof. Real proof. Not circumstantial. Not patterns. Proof that Alex paid for those images to be created. The hearing was 12 hours away. Torres would execute the search warrant in the morning, before the hearing, if they found the images on his laptop, if they found the deepfake software, if they found his research into how to destroy me. It would all be over. I pulled up Chen's report one more time. Read the conclusion. With 99.4% confidence, these images are synthetic creations. Then I thought about Torres's investigation, the crypto payment, the warrant being executed in the morning. Then I thought about the article. 23,000 views now. People arguing in the comments about whether I was lying. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., I'd walk into that hearing, with Chen's forensic report, with Torres's crypto trail evidence, with Vanessa representing me, with my parents in the room, with proof that Alex had paid for those images 4 days before they were sent. For the first time in 6 weeks, I had everything I needed. I just had to make it through one more night. I tried to sleep, managed maybe 2 hours. At 6 a.m., my phone buzzed. Text from Torres. Executing warrant now. We'll update you soon. I stared at my phone. Right now. Right this moment. Police were at Alex's apartment, going through his laptop, his phone, his files, finding everything. 2 hours later, another text from Torres. Found it. All of it. Images on his laptop, deepfake software, timeline documents. He kept everything. I read that text 5 times. He kept everything. The hearing was in 6 hours, and Torres had proof. I couldn't sleep. Just sat at my kitchen table with everything printed out, Chen's 23-page report, my Phoenix travel receipts, Torres's crypto trail findings. Vanessa had prepared the full presentation. I had reviewed my own statement, practiced reading it 10 times. My voice kept shaking on the same line. Someone weaponized technology to destroy my life. At 11:30, my phone buzzed. Torres. Executed the warrant at Alex's apartment tonight, found his laptop. I held my breath. Preliminary look, over 300 photos of you saved in dated folders. My stomach turned. Yelp account access logged in the browser history, timeline documents matching deepfake creation process. So you have everything? Everything. Forensics team will have full report tomorrow. He'll be arrested tomorrow morning before your hearing. I sat there holding my phone, after 6 weeks of fighting, after losing almost everything, after panic attacks and sleepless nights and my own sister doubting me. They had proof. Real proof. All of it. At 6 a.m., I watched through my window as a police car pulled up to Alex's apartment building 2 blocks away. Torres had texted me. It's happening now. I watched them walk inside. 15 minutes later, they walked out with Alex in handcuffs. He looked smaller than I remembered. Older. His head was down. They put him in the back of the police car. I stood at my window and watched them drive away. After 6 weeks of hell, the evidence was finally overwhelming. But I'd learned the hard way that truth doesn't always matter to people protecting their own asses. Torres texted at 8 a.m. He's in custody. Being processed now, 4 charges: cyberstalking, extortion, identity theft, false statements to government agency. He lawyered up immediately. No statement, another text. But we have everything, the crypto payment, the photos on his laptop, the fake text messages he created. He kept detailed folders, almost like he wanted documentation. I read that last line twice. He'd kept everything, organized it, dated it, like some kind of trophy collection. My phone rang. Vanessa. Board moved your hearing to this afternoon. They know about the arrest. What time? 2 p.m., same as before. But Oliver, this is good. They'll want to close this fast now. Why? Because if they don't reinstate you immediately, it looks like they suspended an innocent woman based on fabricated evidence from a man who's now in jail. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. I hung up and looked around my empty daycare. Sophie would be here in an hour. The only kid left. In 6 hours, I'd walk into that hearing. With Chen's forensic report proving the images were fake. With Torres's investigation proving Alex paid for them. With Alex himself sitting in jail on 4 felony charges. I had everything I needed. But I'd spent 6 weeks learning that having the truth didn't always mean people would believe it. I got dressed. Put on the outfit Vanessa told me to wear. Professional but not too formal. Approachable. My hands shook putting on my earrings. At 1:30, my parents showed up. Mom hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. Dad just kept saying, "We're here. We're here." Vanessa arrived at 1:45 with 3 file boxes. Ready? Number. I wasn't ready, but I nodded anyway. We drove to the state building in Vanessa's car. My parents followed behind. The whole way there, I kept thinking about Hoffman suggesting I voluntarily surrender my license. About Mrs. Nguyen pulling her son out because of a Facebook post. About Jessica asking if I'd actually done something. About sitting in that parking lot, unable to afford forensic analysis. About Chen working overnight because he believed me. About Torres pushing subpoenas because she believed me. We pulled into the parking lot. The hearing was in 15 minutes. This was it. Either I kept my license or I lost everything. We walked into the state building at 1:55. Hoffman was already there. He looked uncomfortable, kept adjusting his tie. Alex wasn't there, in custody. 3 board members sat at the front table, including Hoffman. We sat down. Vanessa put 3 file boxes on the table. The chair spoke first. Let's begin. Vanessa stood. I'm submitting several documents for the board's review. First, a 23-page forensic analysis from UC Berkeley's Digital Forensics Lab. She handed them copies. They started reading. The analysis concludes with 99.4% confidence that the images submitted to this board are synthetic creations, not authentic photographs. The chair kept reading. His eyebrows went up. Second, documentation proving Ms. Chen was in Phoenix at a childcare conference during the time frame of one of the alleged images. Boarding passes, hotel receipts, conference badge, group photograph. Vanessa placed each document in front of them. Third, a summary of Portland Police Bureau's investigation. They've arrested the individual who created these images. He's currently in custody on 4 felony charges. The chair looked up. Arrested? This morning, Detective Torres can provide the full report if needed. What charges? Cyberstalking, extortion, identity theft, false statements to a government agency. The 3 board members looked at each other. Vanessa continued. Fourth, evidence of payment. The suspect paid $340 in Bitcoin to a known deepfake service provider, 4 days before the images were sent to this board. His verified Coinbase account links directly to the transaction. She placed the crypto trail documentation in front of them. The suspect also kept over 300 photos of Ms. Chen on his laptop. Browser history showing Yelp account access. Timeline documents matching the deepfake creation process. The chair was reading Chen's report, the technical sections. This is very thorough, he said quietly. UC Berkeley doesn't do sloppy work. He looked at me. Ms. Chen, I want to apologize on behalf of this board. We followed protocol, but our protocol failed you. I wasn't expecting that. Vanessa nodded to me. My turn. I stood. My prepared statement was shaking in my hands. I understand the board has to take allegations seriously, but anonymous complaints with fabricated evidence shouldn't be able to destroy someone's livelihood. My voice was steady. I'd practiced this. I spent 6 weeks afraid to leave my house. I lost most of my income. My own family doubted me. I looked directly at Hoffman. Not because I did anything wrong, but because the system assumes guilt until you can prove innocence. My voice cracked on that line. I paused, took a breath. And proving innocence cost me thousands of dollars I didn't have and months I'll never get back. I sat down, didn't cry, wanted to finish strong. Hoffman cleared his throat. Ms. Chen, I should have pushed harder for forensic verification before placing you on suspension. He looked uncomfortable. Good. I was concerned about liability. I should have been concerned about fairness. The chair looked at the other 2 board members. They nodded. We're voting to immediately lift the suspension and fully restore your license. I felt Vanessa's hand on my arm. All disciplinary notes will be expunged from your record, and we'll be implementing new protocols requiring forensic verification before acting on anonymous image-based complaints. Vanessa stood. My client also requests a formal written apology. The chair paused, looked at the other members. Granted, you'll have it in writing by end of week. I exhaled. For the first time in 6 weeks, I exhaled. It was over. They believed me. The system finally worked. We walked out of that building into bright afternoon sunlight. My mom was crying. My dad hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. Vanessa was smiling. You did it. I didn't feel like I did it. I felt like I survived it. But I'd take survival over destruction any day. I walked out into bright sunlight and couldn't stop laughing. Vanessa grabbed my arm. You did it. You fucking did it. We hugged on the sidewalk. My parents were crying. I was laughing. My phone rang. Torres. Heard the news. Congratulations. Thank you for everything. Alex is being arraigned this afternoon. Bail hearing tomorrow. His lawyer's already talking plea deal. They know the evidence is solid. I drove back to my daycare. Still empty except for Sophie. Vanessa came to pick her up an hour later. Sophie looked up at her mom. Mama, can I come back to daycare every day now? Vanessa smiled. Yes, baby. Miss Oliver's daycare is open again. Sophie cheered, actually jumped up and down. That evening, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Mrs. Harrison called first. We'd like to re-enroll Mia if you have space. Of course. Mrs. Patel called 20 minutes later. We're so sorry, we should have trusted you. I said it was okay, that I understood. But internally, I was still hurt. They'd left when I needed them most. Within 48 hours, 4 families had re-enrolled. 2 new families applied after reading the Tribune article. By the end of the week, I had a waiting list. The plea deal happened fast. 1 week after his arrest, Alex pleaded guilty to all 4 charges. Sentencing was scheduled 2 weeks later, 18 months in jail, minimum 13 with good behavior. 5 years probation after that. Conditions were strict. No contact with me, ever. Permanent restraining order. Mandatory therapy. No access to image editing software. Restitution of $12,800. Lost income plus legal fees. I didn't go to the sentencing. Didn't want to see him. Vanessa went, reported back that afternoon. He looked destroyed. Wouldn't make eye contact with anyone. His mother was there crying. Did he say anything? His lawyer made a statement. Alex didn't speak. Professional consequences came fast. He lost his IT security clearance immediately. Fired from his job the same day he was arrested. His company put out a statement. They don't tolerate criminal behavior, don't want association with the case. His LinkedIn profile disappeared. The Portland tech community blackballed him. The case was discussed extensively on local tech forums. Nobody would hire him after this. Social consequences were just as brutal. All our mutual friends cut contact. Maya texted me an apology. We should have believed you. Derek sent one too. I'm sorry I showed you those fake texts. I should have known. One more from someone I barely remembered. Always knew something was off about him. 2 weeks after sentencing, Alex's mother called me. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Sobbing on the other end. Miss Chen, this is Patricia Lewinsky, Alex's mother. Mrs. Lewinsky. I need to apologize for what my son did to you. I don't know what happened to him. I didn't raise him to be this person. Her voice broke completely. I'm so sorry for what he put you through. If there's anything I can do. There's nothing. I understand. I just needed you to know. I'm so sorry. I accepted her apology, kept the conversation short. Didn't want a relationship with his family. After we hung up, I sat in my daycare. Full again. 6 kids enrolled, 2 more starting next week. Alex was in jail. Would be for over a year. His career was over, his reputation destroyed, his friends gone, I'd won. But it didn't feel like winning. It felt like surviving. I looked around my daycare, the toys, the little tables, the artwork on the walls. I'd almost lost all of this. Because one man couldn't handle rejection. Because the system assumed I was guilty until I could prove otherwise. Because deepfakes exist and can destroy lives in seconds. I'd survived. But barely. And only because I'd gotten lucky. Lucky that Vanessa believed me. Lucky that Chen took my case. Lucky that Torres cared. Lucky that Alex was stupid enough to leave a paper trail. Most women in my situation wouldn't get that lucky. They'd just lose everything and nobody would believe them. That thought kept me up at night for months, even after I was vindicated. Even after Alex was in jail. The knowledge that I'd almost lost everything because someone decided to destroy me, and there was nothing I could have done to prevent it. No amount of following rules, no amount of being careful, no amount of background checks or certifications. Someone with technical skills and a grudge could destroy anyone. That terrified me more than anything Alex had actually done. Because it meant nobody was safe. Not really. But I was still here. My daycare was full. My license was restored. I'd survived. And sometimes survival is the only victory you get. 2 months after the hearing, I paid my parents back. $4,000. The full amount they'd loaned me. You don't have to do this, my mom said on the phone. Yes, I do. With 6 families re-enrolled plus 2 new ones, I was making $4,800 a month again. Not great, but sustainable. My profit margin was positive for the first time since February. The first restitution check from Alex arrived a month after sentencing, $3,200. I tried to pay Vanessa. She refused. You represented me for free for 2 months. And I'd do it again. Vanessa, please. Let me pay you something. We compromised. I paid her $1,000. Not nearly what she deserved, but she wouldn't take more. The rest went into savings. Within 4 months, I was financially stable again. Not comfortable, but stable. I could pay my mortgage without panic, could buy groceries without calculating every item. Small things, but they mattered. I kept going to therapy every week. Dr. Rivera specialized in trauma from cyber harassment. She'd worked with dozens of women in similar situations. Official diagnosis, post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety disorder. Treatment included cognitive behavioral therapy, EMDR for trauma processing, medication to help me sleep. The first full night's sleep happened 3 weeks after the hearing. I woke up at 7 a.m. confused, disoriented. I'd forgotten what 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep felt like. The nightmares continued, but less frequent, once a week instead of every night. Panic attacks reduced from daily to a few times a week to occasional. Progress wasn't linear. Some days were worse than others. But I was healing. My relationship with Jessica stayed tense for weeks. I didn't call her, didn't text, waited. 2 weeks after Alex's sentencing, she called me. I need to apologize. I didn't say anything. I should have believed you. You're my sister. I was scared, but that's not an excuse. It hurt. A lot. I needed you, and you weren't there. I know. I'm sorry. Her voice cracked. Can I bring Emma by this weekend? I hesitated. Yeah, okay. The reconciliation was slow. Took months to rebuild trust, but we worked on it. Emma came back to daycare 2 mornings a week. Jessica and I had coffee every Sunday. We didn't talk about what happened much, but it sat between us. A thing we both knew was there. One Sunday, she said, I looked up deepfakes after everything. I didn't understand how real they could look. Most people don't. I should have believed you without understanding it. Yeah, you should have. She nodded, didn't argue. We were getting there, slowly. My boyfriend stayed through everything. Marcus. The guy Alex had messaged on LinkedIn 6 months ago to warn him about me. He'd ignored that message, stayed supportive through the suspension, the investigation, the hearing. After the trial, our relationship deepened. But I was cautious, hyper-aware of red flags that probably weren't there. "You got quiet," he'd say sometimes. "Sorry, just thinking." About him? About everything. Marcus never pushed, never demanded more than I could give. We went slow. I set clear boundaries. He respected them. When I had nightmares, he'd hold me without asking what they were about. When I had panic attacks, he'd count breaths with me until I could breathe normal again. "You don't have to stay," I told him once. "This is a lot." "I'm not going anywhere." 6 months after the hearing, he said he loved me. I said it back, meant it. But part of me was still waiting for him to turn into someone else, someone dangerous. Dr. Rivera said that was normal, that trust takes time to rebuild. I was working on it. 8 months after everything, I had a full daycare again, 8 kids, waiting list of 4 families. My license was clean. The board's written apology was framed in my office, not where kids could see it, but where I could. A reminder that I'd fought and won. Financial stability returned. Not wealth, but enough. I paid my parents back completely. Paid Vanessa what I could. Started rebuilding my savings. The first restitution payment from Alex came every month. Not always on time, but it came. I used it to pay down debt, to fix things in the house I'd been putting off, to save for emergencies, because I learned the hard way that emergencies happen. Emotional recovery took longer. The nightmares decreased but never fully stopped. Once a month instead of once a week. Panic attacks became rare, maybe once every few months. Hypervigilance stayed. I checked my locks 3 times before bed, Googled my name weekly to make sure nothing new appeared online, changed my passwords monthly. Dr. Rivera said I might always have some level of anxiety. That trauma changes your brain, but I was functional, working, dating, rebuilding relationships. That was enough. My relationship with Jessica improved slowly. We'd never be as close as before, but we were sisters again. Marcus and I moved in together after a year. I was terrified, but I did it anyway. Learning to trust again was the hardest part. Harder than the hearing, harder than the financial stress. Harder than anything Alex actually did, because he taught me that people you love can destroy you. And unlearning that lesson took years, but I was trying, and some days that felt like winning. 3 months after Alex's sentencing, I got an email from an Oregon state legislator, Representative Maria Santos. She'd read the Tribune article. "Would you be willing to testify about proposed deepfake legislation?" I stared at the email for 10 minutes before responding. The idea of telling my story publicly again made me sick, but I replied yes anyway. The hearing was scheduled for May 2025 at the state capitol. I drove there alone. Wore the same outfit I'd worn to the board hearing, professional but approachable. The legislative committee room was bigger than I expected. 12 representatives, cameras, press in the back. I sat at the witness table. My prepared statement shook in my hands. Deepfakes aren't just about famous people or politics anymore. They're being used to destroy ordinary people's lives. My voice was steady. I'd practiced this. I almost lost my career, my home, my family relationships, because of fake images. I looked directly at the committee members. And I only won because I got lucky. Lucky enough to find free legal help. Lucky enough to connect with researchers at UC Berkeley. Lucky a detective cared enough to push the investigation. I paused. Most victims don't get that lucky. The room was completely silent. Right now, deepfake creation is covered under multiple statutes: harassment, identity theft, revenge porn. But there's no specific law addressing the technology itself. That needs to change. I sat down. 3 committee members had tears in their eyes. 2 others were taking notes. The bill passed the Oregon House in July, passed the Senate in August. Governor signed it into law in October. I was invited to the signing ceremony, stood behind the governor while he signed. Cameras flashed. Reporters asked questions. I smiled for the photos, but all I could think was that this law came too late for me, but maybe it would help someone else. I also created a digital safety guide for childcare providers, 15 pages, covered everything I'd learned the hard way. How to protect photos of kids, how to secure social media, how to respond to false allegations, where to find forensic resources if you need them. I sent it to the State Child Care Association. They distributed it to every licensed provider in Oregon. Within a month, I got dozens of emails. "Thank you for this." I had no idea how vulnerable we were. This should be required reading for all childcare professionals. You probably saved someone's career with this guide. That meant more than the law signing ceremony, because this was practical help, real resources, things people could actually use. I also started volunteering with RAINN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, completed 40 hours of training, became a hotline counselor specializing in image-based abuse, took 2 shifts a month, talked to women going through what I'd gone through. Some were worse off than me. No evidence, no supportive lawyer, no detective who cared. I couldn't save them all. But I could listen, could tell them they weren't crazy, could share resources that had helped me. It gave me purpose beyond just surviving, turned my trauma into something useful. Dr. Rivera said that was healthy, that helping others was part of healing. I didn't know if I'd ever fully heal, but at least I was trying to make sure fewer women went through what I did. That felt like enough. 8 months after everything ended, my daycare was thriving, full capacity, 8 children, 3 families on the waiting list. I hired a part-time assistant. First time I could afford help. Her name was Rachel, 22, early childhood education major, eager to learn. My reputation was stronger than before. Families specifically sought me out. One mom said during a tour, "We want someone who fought for herself, someone who doesn't give up." That comment stuck with me for weeks. I framed Chen's forensic report cover page, not the full report, just the title page, hung it in my home office, not in the daycare. Sometimes when I was struggling, I looked at it. Reminder that truth can be proven, that systems can work if you find the right allies. My personality changed in ways I didn't expect. I stopped avoiding conflict, set boundaries immediately when something felt wrong. An old friend made a joke about the case, something about how at least the fake images probably looked good. Old Oliver would have laughed it off, felt uncomfortable, but stayed quiet. New Oliver said, "That's not funny. What happened to me wasn't funny." She apologized. We worked through it, but the boundary was clear. I completed the RAINN training program. 40 hours, became a volunteer hotline counselor, specialized in supporting survivors of image-based abuse, took 2 or 3 shifts a month, talked to women going through what I'd survived, found meaning in helping them navigate the system, giving them resources, telling them they weren't crazy, but the lingering effects never fully disappeared. I still Googled my name weekly. Oliver Chen deepfake. Nothing ever came up. The images never surfaced publicly. But I checked anyway. I avoided Alex's old neighborhood, took longer routes to avoid driving past his street, changed my passwords monthly, triple-checked my locks before bed. Sometimes I still felt shame, despite knowing rationally it wasn't my fault. Dr. Rivera said, "Trauma doesn't operate on logic. Be patient with yourself." I was trying. 1 year after the first suspension call, I sat in my empty daycare. Last child had just been picked up. The room was quiet, children's artwork on the walls, toys organized on shelves, my licensing certificate displayed prominently. 1 year ago, I was terrified, ashamed, alone. Now I was licensed, thriving, an advocate. I thought about everything I'd learned. I used to think asking for help meant I was weak. I learned it's actually a strategy, maybe the only strategy that works against someone trying to destroy you in silence. I used to think the system would protect me if I just followed the rules. I learned the system protects itself first, and you have to fight to make it work. I used to think surviving meant the harm never happened. I learned surviving means you didn't let it end you. My phone buzzed, text from Torres. "Alex violated probation, contacted you via fake social media account, back in custody, probation revoked, will serve remaining sentence." I stared at the message, felt nothing, not relief, not satisfaction, just nothing. "He wasn't part of my life anymore." I replied, "Thanks for letting me know." Didn't think about it again that day. I locked up the daycare at 6 p.m. New family touring tomorrow. 2 kids on the waiting list. Advocacy speech scheduled next month at a conference in Seattle. My life wasn't perfect. Wasn't like it was before. But it was mine again. I'd built it back, stronger than before. Nobody could take it away with fake images anymore. Because I knew now. Truth can be proven. Silence protects abusers. Asking for help is strength. I survived. I won. And I was helping others do the same. I drove home thinking about the woman I talked to on the RAINN hotline last week. Her ex had created deepfakes and sent them to her employer. She'd been fired. I'd given her Chen's contact information, Torres's name, Vanessa's firm, resources I wished I'd had from the beginning. She'd cried on the phone, said thank you over and over. That's why I kept doing it. Not because I'd healed completely, I hadn't, but because I could use what happened to me to help someone else, turn trauma into something useful. At home I made dinner. Marcus was working late. I ate alone, checked my email. New message from the State Child Care Association. "Your digital safety guide has been downloaded over 800 times. Thank you for this resource." 800 childcare providers now had information that might save them from what happened to me. That felt like winning. My phone rang. Jessica. "Hey. Emma wants to know if she can stay an extra hour tomorrow." "Of course." "Thanks, love you." "Love you too." We hung up. 18 months ago, my sister didn't believe me. Now she trusted me with her daughter. Progress. I looked at Chen's framed report on my wall. Thought about Torres executing that warrant, about Vanessa standing next to me in that hearing, about the board finally apologizing, about Alex in jail where he belonged, about the law that passed because of my testimony, about the 800 people who downloaded my safety guide, about the women I'd helped through RAINN. I didn't ask for any of this, didn't want to become an advocate or a survivor or someone who testified at the state capitol. I just wanted to run my daycare and live my life. But Alex took that choice away from me, so I made new choices, fought back, got loud, refused to disappear, and somehow that turned into something bigger than just surviving. It turned into helping others survive too. I used to think that was enough. Now I knew it was more than enough. It was everything.